morning, Hoopers. This is Tiffany Tanuki, and you guys know me as Tanuki Twirls. And today we're going to do a comprehensive tutorial. Let me just turn down the music on chest hooping, shoulder hooping, and then talk a little bit about arm weaves, some transitions, and variations. So first, let's do something fun. Let's just strip. It's going to be easier for you to learn on bare skin. As you guys may know, bare skin is amazing for most things because it's going to grip on you. The hoop's going to grip on your skin rather than your shirt, which can be difficult. But as you can see, the reason I started out that way is to let you know, yes, you can hoop in a sweatshirt. It's doable. But if you're learning this for the first time, then definitely give yourself a little bit of learning room. So, to show you hoop sizes, I suggest learning this on a bigger hoop, even as big as my beginner hoop, which is a 38, which is enormous. I will say one caveat with using a big hoop is it does hurt your boobs, but gives you a lot more time to react. This is not too bad. So just to let you know, I'm about 5'5" in height. That gives you an idea. Again, this is a 38-inch hoop. Definitely doable on this. Because it's heavier, you're going to have to give it a little bit more of a push, as with other ones. I also have a 34-inch, which is what this one looks like. Also very much doable. And then once you're very comfortable with all of this, eventually you can downsize to your regular size hoop, which can be whatever you're comfortable with. Mine is my favorite 30. That's all doable. That's all I want to show you. So let's get started. So I'll just go ahead and do it with my 34 just to show you. So think about waist hooping. A lot of beginners think it's like this round motion, which it's not. You can either do like a side to side, or look at my stance, forward to backwards. So same idea, we're going to start with chest hooping and then go to shoulder hooping. When you do chest hooping, it's still, luckily, like look at it on your waist, going around in a circle. When it's on your shoulder, or your chest, I'm sorry, it's still going around in a circular motion. So something I like to just experiment with, you can do this if you want. It's like when you first learn waist hooping, I suggest, obviously also go in your dominant direction, don't do your non-dominant obviously. So something I just suggest when you first learn is just to spin it and let go. No hooping. Okay, the reason for that being is when you do that, try to feel when it makes contact with your body. Because then you'll start to understand the hoop. That sounds silly. So then you'll start to understand when it falls, where it touches your body, where you need to give that push back from when you're waist hooping. So for example, I feel it start to get a little wobbly, I push a little bit. So kind of same idea. This might work for some people. If it doesn't, move on, whatever. But same thing, just put it right under your armpits. So the contact to your body is normally, you keep it here right under my armpits. When you let go, you can make contact right on top of your chest. It's not going to be on your nips. Should usually be right above here, just so you know placement. So same thing, maybe just give it a little swing and let go. Falls much faster than your waist, but you can at least feel the rotation. The basis as to which I like to think about chest hooping is, when I first learned it, like, don't worry about looking pretty, just thrust. It's a lot of boob or chest thrusting, forwards and backwards. So if you're a dancer and you do a lot of like these movements, this will help. So don't worry about looking pretty. Like I said, this is like the movement without a hoop. Forwards and backwards. It's what you call a back push and a front push. So you're going like this, forwards and backwards, which is a really awkward movement, but it does help the flexibility in your spine. So think of your spine like this. You really want to do this pulsating, snake-like movement and exaggerate it and push it. And this is the push that's pushing your hoop forwards and backwards. Another tip, just like waist hooping when you first started, don't do it stationary yet. That can come later. Spin with it. And who cares if you're spinning? It looks beautiful and graceful. And that's where we learn. So, when you're ready, give it a little bit of a whirl and start turning with it. And just look at when it touches my chest, right? That's what I'm pushing out. So I'm going to stand sideways and talk about my crazy thrusting motion I was talking about earlier. So spin with it, and notice that when it touches my chest, is when I push out, push out, push out, push out, push out, push out, push out. It's So I'm stationary right now, which is why I have to do it much faster. But I wanted you guys to be able to see this snake, spine, flexibility, thrusting motion. Okay, but if you turn with it, notice how I can move much slower. Every time it touches the front of my chest, I push. Also, same with the back, I push. Again, it's this movement of the resting and pushing your boobs and getting down. So just try that out. And don't get discouraged. I don't think this is going to be something most people can learn in a day, weeks, months. It's fine, just keep with it, do what you want. And if you get frustrated, I like to move on to another trick, or just don't get too frustrated, it's fun, right? So one more time. Turn with it a bit. And again, when it touches your chest, you push out. Stationary wise, it looks like this. Again, thrusting out with my chest. And from the front, it looks like this. So you can see, since I hoop to my left, that's my dominant side, there is a little bit of a circular motion, but it's mostly the chest. So that would be, to me, chest hooping is a prerequisite to shoulder hooping. You guys know, like all my tutorials, I like to practice the other current as well. So if you get this down, wait to your other side, you can still see I'm a super awkward monkey when I do that. So practice with that. Then let's move on to shoulder hooping. So shoulder hooping is on your shoulders, obviously. And again, you can do it stationary, which is quite difficult, or you can move in a circle. So when you're learning, I obviously suggest moving in a circle. Again, it slows your hoop down. So let's think about some concepts. Here I said, pretty much moves in a circle for chest hooping. Same idea for shoulder hooping. However, here's some things. Don't stiffen up. Okay, try to keep your hands or your arms nice and fluid, like you're dancing. If they stiffen up, which I was doing, I was like somehow I'm keeping it up, but if your arms are stiff, you're gonna hit the hoop and it's gonna go down. So try to think about moving your body, and then your arms are just there, part of your body. Another thing I like to think about, again, I hoop to my left, okay? So when it goes around, I feel as my left shoulder is kind of nudging back. You guys can watch me and see if that's what I do. So yeah, I kind of feel like my left shoulder is just kind of wiggling backwards on the rotation, whereas my front shoulder is nudging forward. So pull back, forward, forward. That kind of makes sense because it's rotating this way. So this arm is helping push it back. Whereas my other shoulder is shrugging forward. Okay. Left shoulder, I'm hooping to my left, pulls backwards, frontwards, shrugs forward. From the side, that's what my right shoulder looks like. So my left shoulder looks like. And like I said, just turn with it. And it's gonna fall a lot when you first try, and that's fine. But similar to chest hooping, where when you're turning, you barely have to push, but it makes contact with your chest. When you put your shoulders in, same thing. When it's making contact right here, front of my chest, that's when I, Again, this movement of pushing forward. So again, makes contact here, thrust forward, but now my shoulders are in. So you're gonna wanna push a little bit harder, because now the shape of your body is less of a circle, it's more of like like an oval, because my shoulders are in. So if you look at me horizontally, I'm not a circle. I am more of an oval. So you have to give it a little bit more of a push, thrusting motion, and turn with it. Completely fine. And I thought about it a long time before I made this tutorial, because I kind of didn't want to make one, because I felt like it's one of those things that you just have to do it all the time, and your body will figure it out. It's muscle memory. But I figured I can give a few tips, and I hope this helps you guys. So now that we have shoulder hooping, chest hooping down, talk about some fun things, like arm weaves. So weaves are when your arms go in and out of the hoop. So your prerequisites to me are obviously shoulder hooping and chest hooping. since essentially you're going chest, hoop, chest, hoop. But some good things we can talk about here are, let's say you have chest hooping down. Before I get into that, I'll just show you arm weave one more time. It means you go in, out, in, out. So it's alternating hands. You don't even have to do it that fast if you don't want at first, and like I said, you can turn with it. So bring one in and out. When you're ready, put it back in. Bring the other hand out and back in. Eventually you can do on each beat 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And when you have shoulder and chest hooping stationary down, you can probably do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But see how I have to move much faster when I'm stationary? Alright, so what was I talking about? Good thing with the arm weave to learn is when you already have chest hooping down, but you think you're having some issues with shoulder hooping, and a way to get into shoulder hooping I'll talk about, which is like dipping your arms in. But if you're having trouble with shoulder hooping, but you got chest hooping down pat, then try just dropping one hand in. Now you're at least shoulder hooping with that one side. And you can turn with it, like I said. This is kind of like arm weave, right? Just put your other arm in. But I think that's actually a good way to practice. If you have chest hooping down, stick your arm in. Now you know how that one shoulder has to react. See how I'm talking about that pushback I said before? Now you can shoulder hoop on this one side. And that was the easier side for me. When I just tried the other hand, it just dropped. But just keep at it. Turn it, practice. And now you can shoulder hoop on both sides. So then, try both your hands in. Keep turning. That's about it. Now you get that arm weave. But anyway, like I said, that was a 34-inch. Is it doable with a 30? Your favorite size is 30? Yes. What I was talking about for transitions, where there's a space, right? A hole when you waist hoop. Boom, 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 boom. Right? So find that space. That's when you put your hands in. Shrug, shrug, shrug. And it's back up. You can break. You can chest hoop. And go back into shoulder hooping. So I hope that was at least mildly helpful. Like I said, watching this is one of those hard learning curves, going to take a while. Not one tutorial will probably be magical for you. I hope I give you some tips, understanding the thrusting motion, how you put in your shoulders after, and the arm weaves. Any questions, as always, please comment. Thank you for watching. And if you like, subscribe, or my name is Tiffany Tanuki Twirls on Facebook, and Tanuki Twirls on Instagram.